Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me. How you doing? I hope you're well. Quick weather update. Been a bit wet, been a bit grey, been a bit bleh. Anyway, I'm home from work. I've got the house to myself. So this is the perfect time to talk about Terroni. Now, after I did the Burger Musk video where I answered your questions, I had quite a lot of interest in me doing that with other fragrances from the Orto Parisi collection. As you know, this is a collection that's very, very dear to me and Rich. We love them all and we're massive fans. So today we're going to do the same thing but with Terroni. So we're going to have a bit of a chat about the fragrance. Obviously there is a full in-depth review of Terroni down there, but a few questions have come up. Not quite as many as there has been with Burger Musk, because I think Terroni is a bit more known. So there's a few questions that have come in that we're going to go over, and I'm going to use some of the Burger Musk questions as well. It gives you guys a better insight into the perfume, a perfume that I love, that Rich adores, that is unfortunately quite a difficult one to test. Unless you're lucky like I am, you know, I am in London, so I can go to numerous stores and smell sort of the Orto Parisi collection. A lot of people can't. Rich, for example, he lives out there in the wilderness somewhere in the north, and he struggles.
Oh, that's it, I've had enough. I'm going out to fly my whippets.
So, you know, Rich trusts me and I trust Rich. So when I tried it, I said to Rich, you're going to need it. You're going to have to buy a bottle. And he bought a bottle and came back and said, yep, you're spot on, Matt. Fabulous stuff. So we're going to talk about Terroni today. And as I say, same format, questions and answers effectively. And hopefully you'll enjoy the video and know a little bit more about an incredibly special fragrance. Now, Terroni actually came out in 2017. It was not one of the original releases from the Orto Parisi collection. It came later, which is interesting because I think it's probably the most known and the most talked about Orto Parisi. In fact, if it wasn't for me constantly banging on about Burger Musk, I think online and certainly in the Facebook groups, Terroni will be the only one that anyone actually really does talk about. It's certainly, depending on where you go, I think it's probably their best seller. Although interestingly, when I was in Harrods and talking to the people there, they said Sturkis is their best seller. So we will do Sturkis. I'm going to do one for all of them. You know, I think we'll probably get Terroni done today. I'll do Mega Mara next, and then so obviously we'll keep up with the normal reviews. But you know, it's just a reference point for people to look to if you've got any interest in the Orto Parisi collection. Eventually, we'll have a video with the Q&A session for every single one of them. So let's have a look at it. Here it is. It's my second bottle. Beautiful cap. It's got like dried lava in it. Look at the colour of the juice. It's red, it's thick, it's unctuous, it's massive, big fragrance. Beautiful fragrance. This is not one to be taken lightly. It's as potent as anything I've got. It's big, it's bold, it's smoky, it's sweet, it's intoxicating, it's powerful, and it's pretty divisive. I think you're either going to love this or hate it. But either way, you're going to have to appreciate it because it's an amazing fragrance. But trust me, it is massive. And like a lot of the Ortos, it's never coming out of clothes. So please, if you do get it or you do manage to grab a sample of it, don't get it on clothing because that clothing will then become Terroni. Now, when I first got it, I did a video and I mentioned that I sort of oversprayed it on a hot day on the way to a barbecue. I had to run to the shop and it just blew me out. I put far too much on. So, you know, and that's me talking here, the massive oversprayer of oversprayers. So yeah, it gives you an idea of just how potent it is. Anyway, enough of my waffle. Let's get to the crux of the issue and answer some questions about Terroni. Okay, the first question I would get asked all the time, and this literally is the most common question: does it smell like Black Afghano? And the answer to that is yes. Now, I've read so many comments about Terroni and Black Afghano together, and I think, you know, if you go through Fragrantica and stuff like that, some people say it does and some people say it doesn't. Now, as I say, this is my second bottle of it, so I have a lot more experience with it than a lot of people have, and I think a lot of people take a sample, wear a sample, sniff a sample, and then they decide to become an expert on something. And I'm a big believer in you can get an understanding of a perfume from a sample, but you don't know what it's like until you live with it. You know, I can spray a sample and think, yeah, I like that, oh, I'll try that. But when I've actually got the perfume, or I've got a decant, which is even better, like a 10ml decant, and I've worn it a few times, properly worn it, you know, not just a little bit here, but actually immersed myself in the fragrance, that's when you start to understand it. So it is comparable to Black Afghano in a couple of ways, and in other ways it's very much its own individual fragrance, and it is its own individual fragrance. To understand Terroni, you need to understand what it's about. Now, Terroni is an ode to Mount Vesuvius. It's basically a volcano encapsulated in a bottle. It's meant to give you the impression of having your hands in the earth around that famous volcano, and because of that, you have a fiery, sweet fragrance that's smoky, that's deep, that's rich. I get a lot of smoked paprika from it, roasted nuts, and things like that. So in the opening, the first original Black Afghano was quite smoky. I don't think the current version of it is particularly smoky. This is very smoky, and it's you're in a cloud of it. As soon as you spray it, it just explodes into the room. It sticks to your skin. Let's spray a little bit now. Obviously, I'm wearing it, so I don't want to spray too much because obviously people will come into the house at some point today, and I don't want them just to walk into Terroni. So I've sprayed a little bit on my hand there. Let me see if you can see that. You can see it's quite thick on my skin. This explodes in smoke and sweetness, and it's almost got like a dried fruit note. There's sweet woods in it, and it's nothing like Black Afghano at this stage. Give it a couple of hours, and then it's a it's like a very, very long dry down from the ferocious opening to a sort of a mellow vibe, which Terroni does have in the end. When it hits that mellow vibe, then it starts to remind me of Black Afghano. But for the first massive section of this perfume's life, it's quite different to Black Afghano. That musk that's in pretty much everything that Gualtieri does is in this as well. So most of Gualtieri's frags do share a common DNA, and that's where I think the Black Afghano comparisons come. But they kind of do the same thing. They're dark, sweet, woodsy fragrances at their heart, and Terroni is that as well. So yeah, it does have a big smoky, punchy opening, and it's nothing like Black Afghano at that stage. As it dries down, it becomes more like Black Afghano. I prefer this to Black Afghano. I love Black Afghano as well, so I'm not knocking it. I just think this is a more exciting fragrance. It's got certainly outperforms it by miles nowadays. And it's just that, I don't know, there's so many more facets to this than Black Afghano. And again, please understand, I'm not, Black Afghano is an incredibly important perfume, and so is this. I prefer this, but again, please, I'm not knocking Black Afghano. So that's your first question. And I suppose the second question leading on to that would be, if I have Black Afghano, do I need this? If I have Terroni, do I need Black Afghano? And the answer to that is yes, I think you do if you are a collector. If you just want one dark, potent fragrance, then you probably don't. I would obviously go for Terroni over Black Afghano every time. But you may need, you might not want something quite as potent as Terroni, so Black Afghano, especially the current version of Black Afghano, may be more suitable for you. Listen, it's a Gualtieri. You're going to need to sample it. You're going to need to smell it before you make any decisions on it. But in answer to that question, they are similar at stages within the perfume. Terroni is a completely different animal for the first part, the very long first part of its performance, and I think it is worthwhile owning both. So there you go. That's 2 questions for 1. We're on a roll. Okay. Next question is also a multiple answered question. Someone's, can younger people wear it? Well, listen, let's look at the age and who it's for all in one. So if you're male or female or young or old or whatever you are, you can wear this, provided one thing. And whoever wears this fragrance has to be confident. Doesn't matter what your gender is, what your orientation is, what your age is. It's about your confidence. That's what dictates who can wear Terroni. Now, if you're a shy, retiring, quiet type who doesn't sort of, want to fill the room with confidence and answer questions and be the sort of noticeable one in the group, Terroni might not be for you. And I'm not saying that if you're any of those things, if you're shy, quiet, retiring, etc., you can still appreciate perfume. Of course you can. I would never be so disrespectful as to say, you have to be an outgoing, loud, raucous person to wear Terroni. But when you wear it, because it's such a unique perfume and it's such a big perfume, people are always interested in what you're wearing. Don't forget, this doesn't stop projecting for a very long time. This has got the holy trinity of beast mode for me, which is a strong, big sillage, massive performance, really projects, and it lasts and lasts and lasts. Even hours and hours into wearing it, it's still projecting and it's still offering a sillage. So it's, you know, it is a genuine, proper beast mode fragrance. So if you don't want to wear a beast mode fragrance, this isn't going to be for you. If you're, you know, if you don't want to wear a beast mode fragrance, but you do want to wear a beast mode fragrance, you've got to be incredibly clever with how you apply this. You know, this is such an easy perfume to overspray. And because the sillage is so massive, and I think it's such a shock to your system, when you overspray this, you can become quite desensitized to it and not be aware just how loud it is. You know, I've worn this out many times and I'm thinking, has it disappeared? And people around me are talking to me and asking me what my perfume is, and people that are quite far away can smell it and they say, wow, you smell amazing, or what the hell is that you're wearing? So it can be quite divisive. But yeah, you need you need bags of personality to wear this out. I mean, if you haven't got bags of personality and you still like it, have a bottle and spray it at home and enjoy it. But if you wear it out, it will garner attention. It will get compliments, and it may be a bit scary for some as well. So you do, you know, forget sex, forget age, thrusters, old farts, everyone can enjoy this as long as they're confident. Right, next up, is it oudi? This is a really, really good question because some people think it is. Now, I've got quite a lot of experience with natural ouds and stuff like that, and I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of other accords and notes and things in here that are shouting out, but I don't particularly get much oud from it, not in a traditional sense. It may be a clean oud that's used to give volume or bass or something like that, but I wouldn't put this down as an oudi perfume. It is slightly animalic, it's very musky, it's very potent, and it's very loud, but I wouldn't put it down as an oudi frag. Some people may. I personally, having spent a lot of time lately smelling oud in various, you know, styles and formats, I wouldn't have this down as an oudi fragrance. I have it down as a massive fragrance, but not necessarily an oudi one. Another question that comes up is, can this be worn for work? And the answer to that is incredibly carefully. I mean, I wear it to work, but I've got a mental job and I work outside, and it doesn't really matter what I wear most of the time. If I'm going into the office, I would not be wearing this. Terroni would be one of the last fragrances on my list to wear for work. If you wear this in an office, you've got to be so careful with it. You know, if you get this wrong, I really feel for your colleagues, especially if they don't like it, they're in trouble, because it is massive and it will just fog up your desk. And, you know, walking, you know, what do they say in America? A water cooler moment. If you walked over to the water cooler overspraying this, your whole office, your whole building is going to smell of it. So be very, very careful if you consider wearing it for work. In fact, I would go as far as to say this is not safe for the office. What's next? Is it a safe blind buy? Well, I think I've answered that one. No, definitely need to sample it. Do not blind buy Terroni. Don't blind buy any of these. Please promise me you'll do that. Don't blind buy any Orto Parisis. Okay, does it get compliments? Well, we kind of touched on that. Yes, it does. I think people really, really like the smell of it, especially after that outrageous start. When, you know, when this opens up, it's at its smokiest, and then, you know, the smoky night vibe stays with it. But as it dries down, it becomes a really sweet, interesting woodsy thing. There's cinnamon in here. There's, as I say, there's dried fruits, there's sweet woods. So it's a really, really nice combination of fragrance. And it is really inviting. A lot of people find that their partners really like it on them after the mad stuff has calmed down. So yes, it does get compliments. But if you're looking to buy a perfume purely to garner compliments, this is probably not the best place to start. You know, there's other much safer compliment getters out there. There's actually more safe compliment getters within the Orto Parisi collection than Terroni. Terroni is a perfume for the perfume aficionado. Terroni is a perfume for you to enjoy, and if people around you like it, then that's all well and good, but it's not about them, it's about you, and it's about your love for this perfume, and certainly my love for this perfume. So yeah, if you want a compliment getter, no, buy something else. If you want something for you to compliment yourself on, Terroni. Oh, the other way around. Terroni's the one for you. Okay, when's the best time of year to wear it? Because of its rambunctious nature and its boundless energy and it's just oomph. It's a perfect autumnal winter fragrance. I have worn it in hot weather and it didn't work so well. I've worn it on warm days and it's okay, but you have to be very careful with the spray. If you just want to sort of go out in the cold and beat the cold into submission, there you go. Have some Terroni. Get that out there because it thrives in cold weather. It really, really does. Autumnal days. There's something quite amazing about walking in the woods. You know, when we used to have our dog, I used to love Terroni to take the dog out, walk through the woods, let him run around on a cold day. It was quite a magical experience because of the sillage, it kind of feels like it's floating all around the trees and everything. So it's an excellent one for cooler weather. I wouldn't, you know, I'm a bit of an idiot at times and I have worn it, as I say, in hot weather and I don't know, it's a bit of a hard wear because it is so relentless as well. I mean, it does change and you know, its shape and form changes throughout the wearing. Don't get me wrong, you are going on a bit of a journey, but it's a big journey at all stages. So in hot weather, it can be a bit too much. So stick to the cold and crisp mornings, or, you know, autumnal days. Or if you're, you know, I get a bit of the old seasonally adjusted depression in winter. And this really brightens it up. So it's a good one for my mental health as well, because it's such an exciting and fun fragrance for me to wear. So I particularly like it in the winter. Is it synthetic smelling? This one comes up quite a bit. Yeah, I suppose it is a bit. Because of the mad combination of smells that you get with it, it's never going to be, you know, it's difficult to encompass so many different elements and smell natural. So yeah, there is going to be a hint of synthetics in here. I mean, Alessandro Gaultier is well known for using synthetics. So you will get some kind of synthetic vibes from it, and that's fine because it's done beautifully and it's never uncomfortable, or it doesn't, you know, it never smells like, ugh. And it never smells cheap. It smells like an expensive luxury perfume, which it is. So, you know, in that case, it does smell a little bit synthetic, but in a fabulous way. And the final question on this one is about the notes. You know, what notes does it have in it? Well, I can be quite honest here. Gaultier never publishes notes with his perfumes, and there's a reason for that. Because the notes of this aren't important. It doesn't matter. If I had one of those machines, you know, that the clone houses use, and just sprayed a bit in that, and it could, you know, give me a printout or a screen with all the notes and all the components of it, what materials have been used, and, you know, what the notes are effectively, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down on the top we have blah, 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 blah. It wouldn't really matter, because this is more than the sum of its notes. Terroni is a fragrance that takes you on a journey. It's big and it's powerful and it's potent and it's beautiful. What it consists of doesn't really matter. This is about a wear. This is a perfume for you to wear, not analyse, if you know what I mean. So reviewing it, it's quite, you know, I mean, I'm quite passionate about this perfume, as you will probably have guessed. So I'm not really fussed about a note breakdown. It doesn't really matter. I can tell you that it's quite a dry perfume. It's dusty, it's smoky, it's sweet, it's intense, it's rich, it's just divine. But whether it's got, you know, 2/3 patchouli to 1/3 vetiver on the base, and, you know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. There's some sandalwood in this, I can tell you that. The sandalwood in the dry down is beautiful. It's sweet, it's dark. You know, it's a great fragrance. And also, certain people, and I'm one of them, you know, I'll look through notes and think, oh, there's a lot of patchouli in that. I love patchouli. I'm going to try that one. And I get that. That's how I've shopped for perfume for a very long time, and I'm sure most of you guys do. When it comes to this one, those rules don't really apply, because it's such a crazy, you know, all the chords and everything all smashed together and bent and twisted and stretched and stuff like that. A note listing is going to be misleading, if anything. You need to hear a description of it rather than a breakdown. So that's what I hope I've done for you today. Anyway, that's my take on Terroni. If you've got any more questions at all, please hit me up on Instagram, or please, you know, just send me a message and I'll answer them for you. But it's one you're going to need to try. It's a stunning frag. I hope you get your hands on it, and I hope you get to try it, and I hope you really enjoy it. And once again, thank you very much for your time. We will see you on the next video. Cheers and bye.